an apartment in Jeon, South Korea. March 3, 2020. A man in his 50s was going through his usual nighttime routine, getting ready to sleep. It was just an ordinary Tuesday, and as he brushed his teeth, he thought about turning in early since he had work the next day. Suddenly his phone buzzed. A message had come through on KakaoTalk from one of his son's friends. Without much thought, he opened it. There was a photo. At first glance, he couldn't understand what he was seeing. Confused, he zoomed in for a closer look. In that instant, the color drained from his face. His phone slipped from his hand and hit the floor as he dropped to his knees in shock. Later, he would describe it as the most horrifying thing he had ever witnessed. An image burned permanently into his memory. The photo showed a severed human penis. The sender was one of his son's closest friends, and the body part in the image belonged to his son. So what exactly had happened? Let's dive into the story.
What do you guys actually do on your phone during your free time? Like when you're just chilling, waiting for something, or winding down after a long day? For me, I'm usually playing some mobile games or just mindlessly scrolling on social media. And honestly, I never thought anything of it until someone showed me this app and I was like, wait, people actually get paid for this? So I tried it myself because I had to see if it was not a scam, it was actually real. This app is called Free Cash. So basically you play games, do some simple tasks, and you earn coins that you can cash out for real money. Is it going to make you rich? No, of course not. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, but like in this economy, free pocket money for doing something you would do anyway. I will definitely take it. What got me was how straightforward it is. I picked a game I actually wanted to play and just played it. That's it. And there are like hundreds of other options in there, so you will definitely find something you like. And of course, if you're wondering if you can trust them, over 260K reviews on Trustpilot, 4.7 stars. So yeah, it's not some sketchy things. These guys actually pay out. So if you want to try it, you can use my link below. You will get a $10 bonus after your first offer. It's completely free to sign up, and I am going to keep using it. And I also introduced this to my other family members. So yeah, let me know how it goes for you too. The father's hands wouldn't stop shaking. He looked at the photo again, hoping he'd been mistaken. He hadn't. So he called the man who had sent it, demanding to know what was going on. The friend explained that he had simply passed along a photo that he'd got from someone else, a man we will call Ji-hoon. That name stopped the father cold. Ji-hoon was his son's closest friend, someone the father knew well. His son, whom we will call Min-soo, had lived in the same neighborhood as Ji-hoon since the two were 5 years old. They'd studied at the same schools. They were still friends 30 years after they'd first met. When the father asked whether the body part in that photo was his son, Bin-soo's, the friend confirmed that, according to Ji-hoon, it was. The father called the police immediately. It was just after 9 p.m. Officers launched an investigation right away. The first thing they did was trace Min-soo's location through his cell phone, and they got a hit, a neighborhood in Seoggu District, Daejeon. But something was off. The phone hadn't moved at all from one spot. The area was packed with motels. Police focused their search around the relevant cell tower, going through security footage one camera at a time, while also looking into anyone who might have had a reason to target Min-soo. In the process, they dug into Min-soo's background and uncovered something significant. He had a court date coming up in 1 month. About 6 months earlier, in September 2019, a woman we will call In-jung had filed a police report, alleging that Min-soo had sexually assaulted her while she was asleep. The charge was quasi-rape, a crime under Korean law that refers to assaulting someone who is unable to resist due to being unconscious or otherwise incapacitated. It carries the same punishment as rape. Bin-soo had been indicted without being detained. He denied the charges and hired a lawyer to prepare his defense. So police considered an obvious possibility that the sexual assault victim had taken revenge. There was a precedent. In the 1991 Kim Bunam case, a woman who was raped as a child tracked down and killed her attacker 20 years later. She targeted that specific part of his body. But something in this case added an extra layer of confusion. The person who had sent the photo was Ji-hoon. Ji-hoon was Min-soo's childhood friend. And Eun-jung, the sexual assault victim, was not just Ji-hoon's girlfriend. She was the woman he had planned to marry, his fiancée. His best friend had raped the woman he was going to spend his life with. Police tracked Ji-hoon's phone as well. It was moving in the direction of Eun-jung's apartment building. Detectives headed there around midnight. Eun-jung's building was a worn 3-story walk-up. Her unit was on the second floor. The neighborhood was quiet, and most of the windows were dark. The detectives rang her bell. No answer. They knocked. Nothing. Then one of them noticed a black plastic bag hanging from the door handle. A milk delivery from that morning, still untouched. It seemed she hadn't been home all day. But I haven't yet mentioned the most disturbing part. The thing they actually noticed first. A detail that absolutely no one would be able to ignore. Hanging on the door was the severed penis from the photo. Ji-hoon had not left it at the crime scene. He carried it here and hung it on Eun-jung's door, the home of the woman who had been assaulted. Whether it was meant as some kind of grim proof, a message, or something else entirely, no one could say. But it was deliberate. He had made the choice to bring it here. So the detectives decided to sweep the surrounding area. Out back there was a covered parking lot, dimly lit by a single street light. They moved through it with flashlights, checking every inch. That's when one of them stopped. Something was hanging near the ceiling. He assumed at first it was a shadow, maybe a piece of cloth caught in the breeze. But it was too large, and it was swaying. He raised his flashlight, and it was a person. A nylon cord was tied to a gas pipe overhead and looped around someone's neck. The body hung limp, head tilted to one side, arms dangling. The detectives moved fast. One called the emergency services. The others found a ladder in the corner of the lot. A detective climbed up, cut the cord, and the others caught the body below. They laid the man on the ground and started CPR immediately. Compressions, rescue breaths, more compressions. 1 minute passed, then 2, then 3, no response.
They kept going with the rescue effort until the man suddenly moved. He groaned, opened his eyes, and weakly told the detective to stop the chest compressions. He was alive, but something was wrong. His pants were soaked in dark, dried blood, yet he had no visible injuries. When asked if he was Chun, he nodded, the same Chun who had been Min-soo's closest friend for 30 years. Standing there, covered in someone else's blood. He was arrested on suspicion of murder, showing no emotion at all. At the station, detectives faced a race against time. A severed body part didn't always mean death. There was still a slim chance Min-soo could be alive. But over 12 hours had already passed since the attack. When asked where Min-soo was, Chun refused to answer. Instead, he calmly asked for a cigarette. Then another. And another. Hours passed, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., as he smoked without urgency, giving nothing away. No guilt. No panic. Just silence. Finally, around 3:30 a.m., he revealed the location, a nearby motel. When detectives entered the room, the smell of blood hit them instantly. Inside, it looked like a nightmare. Blood covered the bed, the floor, the walls. Min-soo lay there, lifeless. His body was brutally mutilated, his neck torn apart with dozens of stab wounds, signs of a desperate struggle on his hands. He had fought until the very end. The truth became clear in that moment. Chun had known all along. Min-soo had died hours earlier. Every cigarette, every delay, it had all been meaningless. The autopsy later confirmed the sheer brutality of the attack, raising chilling questions about what truly happened in those final moments.
The medical examiner's conclusion was that the mutilation had occurred after death. But if he was telling the truth about what he saw, Min-soo was still alive when it happened. The court pressed him on this directly. Ji-hoon responded that he had simply described what he witnessed. Was he telling the truth? We will likely never know. The only other witness to Chiun's actions died in that motel room. The series of events that led to this murder started in September 2019. Min-soo, Chiun, and his fiancée Eun-jung were out at a bar in Daejeon drinking together. The mood was relaxed, one old friend and a couple catching up over drinks. They had quite a bit to drink. For round 2, they moved to Eun-jung's apartment and kept going. As the night wore on, Chiun passed out drunk on the couch. And that's when it happened. Eun-jung had fallen asleep in her bed. Min-soo approached her while she was unconscious and sexually assaulted her. The next morning, Eun-jung woke up and pieced together what had happened. There were signs on her body and fragments of memory. So she told Ji-hoon. And he couldn't accept it at first. This was his lifelong friend. It didn't seem possible. But when he saw how Eun-jung was reacting, he knew she wasn't making it up. He tried to confront Min-soo directly, and here's something the original reports glossed over. At first, Min-soo admitted it. He acknowledged what had happened. But as the police investigation moved forward, he suddenly changed his story, claiming he had been too drunk to remember anything. That rehearsal in narrative was what led police to release him without detention, rather than hold him in custody. Chiun loudly protested that decision. He wanted Min-soo locked up. He felt the police weren't taking the situation seriously enough. Eun-jung filed a formal report. Min-soo was indicted on quasi-rape charges, hired a lawyer, and now officially denied everything. The same act he had initially acknowledged. Chiun's anger reached a level he couldn't manage. In October 2019, he posted an online petition on Korea's official national petition board, describing what Min-soo had done and calling for accountability. He explained that Min-soo had been a person who was irreplaceable to him, a friend since childhood. He also wrote that Eun-jung had been receiving psychiatric treatment as a result of the assault, and that he himself had been having thoughts of ending his life. He asked people to pay attention to the case. Only about 1,000 people signed it. It went nowhere. Min-soo's trial was set for April 2020. As the date approached, Chiun's state of mind darkened. He knew how these cases could go. Sexual assault charges are notoriously hard to prosecute. Evidence is often insufficient. Even when perpetrators are convicted, they can receive suspended sentences. And Min-soo had already shown exactly who he was, someone who admitted what he did and then lied about it when the truth became inconvenient. What if Min-soo walked free? What if Eun-jung had to carry the weight of what happened to her for the rest of her life, while the man who did it went on as though nothing had occurred? Then came the night of March 2nd, the night before the murder. Chiun and Min-soo met up and drank together. Exactly why Chiun agreed to see him at that point is unclear. But during that drinking session, Min-soo made sexually degrading comments about Eun-jung. He said things about the woman Chiun was planning to marry that Chiun apparently could not let go of. The next day, March 3rd, Chiun reached out to Min-soo again and suggested they meet at a motel. Min-soo agreed. Chiun brought the 11-inch long kitchen knife, and at around 1 in the afternoon, Chiun used it to kill his closest friend in that motel room. 26 stab wounds to the neck, dozens more to the side and back. And then he mutilated Min-soo's genitals, deliberately, as an act of symbolic destruction of what had been used to assault Eun-jung. Then he carried that part of Min-soo's body to Eun-jung's apartment and hung the bloody trophy on her front door. Chiun was charged with murder and desecration of a corpse. At trial, he argued the killing had been a crime of passion, that Min-soo's derogatory remarks about Eun-jung the night before had been the trigger. The court rejected that entirely. Chiun had arrived at that motel with a weapon he had prepared in advance. He had stabbed Min-soo dozens of times. He had mutilated the body, transported part of his remains to a specific location, and photographed the aftermath. None of that fit the picture of a man who had simply snapped in the moment. The court also addressed another consequence of Chiun's actions. By murdering Min-soo before the quasi-rape trial could conclude, he had simply removed the possibility of Min-soo facing legal accountability for his actions. The judge described it as the kind of vigilante retaliation that has no place in a civilized society. In July 2020, the trial court sentenced Ji-hoon to 20 years in prison, plus 10 years of GPS monitoring upon release. Both sides appealed, with the prosecution arguing it was too lenient, and Ji-hoon saying it was too harsh. The prosecution pushed for Ji-hoon to receive 28 years. On November 13, 2020, the appellate court threw out the original sentence. The judges cited not just the severity of the crime, but also the high possibility that Ji-hoon would reoffend and his apparent lack of remorse. The new sentence was 25 years. Ji-hoon was 36 years old when that sentence was handed down. He will be 61 when he gets out. Ji-hoon's sentence and the case itself were polarizing. Some condemned Ji-hoon without hesitation. They argued that regardless of what Min-soo had done, taking someone's life is not justice. It's just another crime. The law existed precisely for situations like this, and Ji-hoon had bypassed it entirely. But others found it less clear-cut. Min-soo had assaulted Ji-hoon's fiancée. Min-soo admitted it and then lied about it the moment the truth became a problem. He hired a lawyer and was prepared for a legal battle to avoid punishment for a crime he knew he was guilty of.
After everything, he even made degrading remarks about the woman he claimed to be avenging. Maybe he truly believed that if he hadn't acted, Min-soo would have walked free, and Un would have been left with no justice, no closure. But belief doesn't justify brutality. What remains are unsettling questions. What if Min-soo had told the truth from the beginning? What if the system had kept him in custody? What if crimes like this carried consequences strong enough for people to trust the law? None of that changes what happened. The choices were made. One man is dead. Another has destroyed his own life. And Un, who never asked to be part of any of this, was left to face the horror Chun placed at her doorstep. But there's a deeper, darker layer. A forensic psychiatrist pointed out something chilling. This may not have been simple revenge. Before the murder, Un-jong had already broken up with Chun. He couldn't accept it. He became obsessive, even threatening her with a knife, behavior that led to legal trouble. So by the time he killed his best friend, she was no longer his fiancée. The psychiatrist suggested that this wasn't just about protecting Un, it may have been about punishing her. Leaving the severed body part at her door may not have been an act of justice, but of control, a way to traumatize her. And one detail from the interrogation stands out. At one point, Chun asked the detective, "Did Un-jong see it?" When the detective said yes, Chun replied, "Then it's done." That single moment changes everything. Was he a man driven by love? Or someone hiding something far more disturbing behind it? This case isn't just about murder. It's about friendship turned to betrayal, love twisted into obsession, and what happens when someone decides the law isn't enough. Where do you stand on it?